So you end up getting married at 18, right? So you're married in prison. You get married in prison. All right. What was that like?
It was interesting. Being young and married, it was an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I did have genuine love for my ex-wife, but it was more like an opportunity to do my bit comfortably. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got two ways you could do your bit. You could be all the way in the trenches with it and struggling and, like, you know, going through all the elements, or you could try to make it comfortable and easy. Everyone want to try to make it easy and comfortable, right? You're already dealing with your own battles, right? So I think early on, I'm like, you know, because truthfully, I didn't want to really get married. You know what I'm saying? And I remember having a talk with my mom and my aunt, and they was like, yo, she's a good girl. Like, you should take this, you know, this is a great opportunity for you. Like, build something with her, like, you know, so you're not missing out on building a family. Like, all of that kind of was part of it. And I was like, what's the worst case scenario, right? Like, go for it. So it was interesting. I was nervous to get married, going through my vows and all that for the first time. But it also felt
But did you guys have like a prior relationship though?
Yeah, her and I, she was like my first girlfriend when I was 5. Right? Yeah, like that type of connection. No, I'm lying. We knew each other since we was 5, but she was my first girlfriend when I was 9. Not 5, right. 9. And then we started talking a little bit around when I was 14. And then it wasn't until we was 17, like literally before I got booked, we kind of just reconnected. You know what I'm saying? But she wasn't my main squeeze before I got locked up. I had somebody else. And then, so it made sense to reach back out. We started connecting, and then that's when, we got, like, you know, we got together.
And what was it like for you, and what do you think it was like for her, that relationship while you were doing your time, like the challenges and everything?
I mean, it was tough, right? Like, she's young, she's in love, right? Like, she has this hope and big vision for us, right? Like, you know, I'm learning who I am. I'm, you know, transitioning from 18 into the, you know, adulthood. But I do say that, like, she made my bid easier, and I felt privileged, right? Like, when you in the States and there's like a group of people that's married and a group of people that's not married, you see the have and the have nots. It's literally that. It's literally like two different types of groups. And I was tapped into the haves, right? Like, we had, you know, visits, we had packages, we had love letters, we had phone calls, we had, like, you know, trailer visits. So it
all
was
that
like,
stuff is important for something to look forward to while you're doing your time.
Of course, you need all that.
Yeah. You guys end up having any kids, or?
No, we end up divorcing in 2014 as a result of her trying to become a cop. That was the primary reason why we divorced.
So that's truth. What, 8 years you guys are together?
Kinda. Yeah, 7 and some change. Yeah, she rode out tough like 6, maybe 6, almost 7 years. It got rocky at some point. But I think around 2014, when we officially divorced, for her to get into law enforcement, that was like the reason why we got divorced. But we were still together. Truthfully, to be honest, I like knew that was my way out. Right? Like, I did love her, but I know I wasn't trying to come home and be tied down. Like, see, I started thinking sharp early on. Remember, I said I came in at 18 and was thinking that consequential thinking. I already knew, like, going to jail for 13 years, coming home married at 30. Like, I just knew that wasn't going to be like a smart move. Like, so I kind of took that opportunity. Then some things happened because we had to have a distant relationship, and that just broke everything down. And then in between that breakdown, trust was broken for certain things that happened. And then I kind of got connected with my other ex. And then I moved on to other situations. And I was fortunate to always have some kind of like wave, you know what I'm saying? My land was never dry.
But I've seen you also talk about, like, you always have love for her because you know that she really did hold you down, like, for the most part, you know.
Yeah, we friends. Like, we not friends now, but we kind of like cordial. She works, you know, in she's one of the partnered institutions that my organization is partnered with. So we, in the work that we do now, we're cordial in that way, but we're not friends, and we just more like a cordial.
I've interviewed a lot of people that have done time, and a lot of them say like it's unrealistic to expect somebody to hold you down for that long of a bit because of like women need love. They get lonely. It's tough to make that ride up to visit all the time or to be like under that kind of stress while and then you go home and you're dealing with real life like the bills and like all the stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a tough thing for anybody.
Yeah, yeah. I agree, man. Like for us at the time when you in it, it's not unrealistic. You're like,
Right.
look, you could do you, just come take care of me. Like some dudes try to negotiate. But if you think about it, man, like putting that kind of pressure on any person, like where they obligated to take care of you is unrealistic because like you just said, the demands of life, the need of love, right? Like and also the pressures of the system. So not only do you need love and the demands of life, but then the pressures of the system is like pushing them away. They got to come up there, sometimes get turned around, get treated like shit, right? Like they come on the visit room, y'all might get into an argument because you going through some things. Like now you making her experience like, yo, it's so much that we don't understand at the time. But I tell you, I know some men that had women that ride for 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did it faithfully or not, but they rode 20 years, 25 years. There's some beautiful love stories. I mean, so it's possible. It's not unrealistic. It's just it's unfair to put that
Mm.
expectation on anybody.
One thing I heard you talk about before was like when you're locked up, you become like a unexpected bill to your family. Like and that's something that they wasn't planning. So I feel like you've been able to see both sides of it. Like while you're locked up, like you may feel like people are not there for you, because life goes on the outside of the
For
walls,
sure.
you know what I mean? But for you, you have so much time to think about things like, how come I'm not getting calls? How come I'm not getting letters? Or, these different things. But then you also understand the other side of it that, man, like everybody has problems still,
For
regardless. Life
sure.
still happening.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, for
So
sure.
so take us through that. Like, how did you realize that?
Um I mean, what being with my ex-wife kind of gave me a reality, like an insight, right? Like being with her and kind of seeing the struggle. Mind you, she's young. She's in her late teens and early 20s and stuff like that. Managing life, school, career, family. You know what I'm saying? So I knew that what she was doing for me was something a lot of my own family couldn't do for me, right? I knew the amount of money she was spending on a package that my sister couldn't afford. You know what I'm saying? Like I start to understand that I'm blessed for her support because some of my family can't do this. When you're traveling 3 hours, 4 hours on a bus, it costs money to get there, it costs money to get on the bus. And that's just the monetary expenses. But what about the social, costs, right? Of the people she got to deal with and the stress and I mean,
Time.
there's too much time, all that, right, goes into it. So I start to understand. That's why I appreciated it. You know what I'm saying? So I learned that early on because she supported me heavy. You know what I'm saying?